All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to class 3 of beautiful brushwork. I think that's what it's called. And this week we are going to start our trees part of it. So it's going to be 2 weeks of trees, and then we are going to spend a couple weeks on water. And I do have a question for you guys on water, because I could literally teach the entire class just on water. I was thinking about it this morning. There's reflections, there's transparency in the water, there's movement in the water, there's clear water versus, cloudier water, there's waterfalls, there's waves, ocean. And so this term, or this time around, I was thinking about doing a waves and a waterfall, because that's something we have not covered at all. Really interesting and exciting. But what unfortunately that does is takes away any form of reflection. You might get a little bit of light reflecting in the waves and stuff, but for the most part, moving water has very little reflection. So then I was thinking about, that leaves us 2 weeks, the final 2 weeks for our project. And so usually how I teach Bella and other new students is it's teaching, exercise. And then the final 2 weeks, I ask you guys to think up a final project for yourself. So instead of a 1 week painting, you have 2 weeks to actually work and finish something off. It's better if it's kind of finished off by the second week, so we can actually look at it and critique it. Last time I had to actually add an extra class just for critiquing. And so what I was thinking, though, for those final 2 weeks, because we won't really have an opportunity to have done reflections in water. So I was thinking maybe what we could do is, well, you're always welcome to paint anything you want, anytime, truly. But for the final project, I was thinking it may be fun to do not so much a paint along, but kind of do something similar. Maybe I could offer up a whole bunch of references. You guys could see them. And if you have something that's similar from your own collection, or, you have a spot that's special to you that has something. But what I would like to do is basically in the finale, do trees, sky, and water all combined into a scene. And that way we will get reflections of the trees and the sky into the water. Otherwise I'm just afraid we won't have enough time to cover all the beautiful and amazing aspects of water. Does that sound okay? Or do you guys feel like I'm taking away your opportunity for ultimate freedom at the end there for the final 2 weeks?
No, we need another class after this with water.
Yeah, I know. I was even thinking about maybe this summer I would offer just reflections class, but boy, my summer fills up fast. I've got so many workshops and traveling and camping, and then I still got to get outside and paint. So I try to leave my summers open. Last summer was the first time I actually ever did an OSA class ongoing. So we'll see. I probably won't, but anyways, everybody else think that's okay for the final project? Is kind of doing something a little bigger, a little more finished off. And finished off is whatever that means to you, right? If you're more of an impressionist, if you're more abstract, if you're, fully photographic detail oriented, or you're more like me and kind of an in-between, slightly impressionistic, slightly messy, slightly, I don't know what I am. Anyways, great. I'm glad everybody is okay with that. If not, let me know. You can always send me an email. And again, feel free to paint whatever you want for real in the final project. If you don't want to do the trees and the reflections and you really have this beautiful ocean scene that you've been really wanting to get to, let's do it. Or you really have this beautiful, trees or sunset or whatever it is. Let's, do whatever you'd like. But this will be my opportunity to share that information with you. Very cool. All right, let's quickly, I'm going to pin myself here. Great. Everybody sees me now, even if somebody else says hello.
Hello.
It stayed on me. All right.
Stay on you.
Great. I'm going to go ahead and share screen, and we are going to pop over to our Padlet where I'm going to share some of the reference photos that I brought in. Again, please, please, please feel free to paint from any of your own references, or, if you want to copy even, another master's painting or something, you are completely welcome to do that. All right. These are just in case you don't have ideas, or, you don't want to save time. All right, let's get that pesky kid out of the way here. And that kid, sorry, and that kid. I did a little show and tell of my daughter, as you can see. Beauty of brushwork. There we go. Everybody sees the Padlet?
Yes.
All right, great. I'm going to just introduce Bella to this really quickly and go through a couple things. I did add a lot of stuff this week. So Bella, after the class is finished, I will be adding the recordings here underneath this. So have you visited the Padlet page at all, Bella, yet?
I just looked at it briefly last night.
Okay, great. You'll see that I actually even made a section for you. It's alphabetical by first name.
Oh,
So you have a section there. So let's just say that you wanted to add one of your beautiful paintings. You just go click the plus there, and then you can either do it from your phone, or I just push this plus button, and then it brings up a bunch of my photos. It brings up my folders, sorry. So then within there, I would just look for where's pictures, and then my art, and let's say I want to add a new painting, and let's say I want to add, it's trees. Let's add this one today. So I'm just pretending this is Bella's crazy tree painting that she did. And then you can simply say, whatever you want to title it. Publish, and it's that easy.
okay.
And it's very cool because you could say, you know what, I accidentally put it underneath Carol's section and I meant to put it under Brooks, and just drag it. It's so easy.
Michael, this is Diane.
Yeah, Diane.
I still struggle with it. So for me, it's not that easy, but I'm doing it. It's just
Wait,
hard.
are you doing it on your computer or on your phone, Diane?
I take a photo on my phone, and then I airdrop it to my computer, and then I upload it. But it's all like, where is it? I can't find it. But anyway, I mean,
Okay, so when you airdrop it and save it, you really want to watch where it's going.
Yeah. And I think I finally figured it out today. It's in downloads.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, so it is easy for some, but for some it's like, but
well, it's like everything. It's hard until it's not.
Yeah, and I still don't remember how to do anonymous. I tried doing that today. I'm going, where is it? I know somebody told us last week how to do it, and I forgot already.
Okay, well, let's do that really quickly. So I believe, and I think it was Shelly, was that you that was kind of walking us through, that we went over to the C, so my mouse, I'm going all the way over to the right side. And there's a settings button right here, the little cog. And then below that, there's also 3 dots. And I think there you get a lot of options of what to do. Yeah, and then up here is like my information, my profile.
So that's on Padlet far to the right. Is that what it is when I'm in Padlet? Go far to the right.
At least on my computer, it is. Yeah.
Okay.
You need to create
or a lower bar at the bottom of the computer.
You need to create a profile for yourself.
Oh, like I know how to do that. Oh God.
So don't you go to, when I send the invitation out to you, like in that email, it should have asked you to do that, I believe.
Really? I may just remain anonymous.
That's all right. And what you can do is, if you're anonymous, just in the subject, just say, you know what?
I can do that.
Yep.
I don't figure the other out. Okay. Yeah.
Just put your name in there.
For me,
Michael?
Yeah.
Susie here. Good morning, everyone.
Yeah,
good morning to
good
you.
morning. Good morning.
Good morning. So good to be with this wonderful group. Okay. Question. Yesterday, I reviewed the whole Padlet. I I frankly love it and can work with it. However, I try to print out under painting examples because I want to save the examples in a folder so I could do some more homework. The question my husband wants me to ask you is how do you print? How do you print? How do you print them out? I tried different things.
Okay,
And I could print out your notes, like, you know, things like that. But how do you print out the pictures?
the references.
Yeah, references, correct.
So
that's beautiful.
for a short minute, when we first did Padlet, there was a button down that appeared down in the bottom right corner. That seems to have disappeared. Everything's always changing. So I'm always learning and relearning along with you guys, which, you know. So now it's the same thing. We're going to go over to the right side, Susie.
Yep.
Push the more button and don't delete it. You can open it in a new tab.
Download attachment.
Yeah, so you
okay.
download it.
Okay.
And so I'm going to download. I already have a section under our class for student work. I got one of Leslie's beautiful paintings there. I'm just going to save it to there.
Okay.
Once it's saved, you know, I can pop it up. And I just push my right mouse button and all these options pop up and I can go to print.
Print it. Wow, I could print it right off the Padlet. Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
I'm basically, and you can even edit it, you know, when you get it in there, if you just say, you know what.
Yeah.
All that. So yeah, it's pretty great. So basically, let's say you guys are interested in, you know, maybe this week you're just like, you know what, this weird, very tonalist photo that Michael turned in here.
I love that. Okay.
Isn't that neat?
Yeah, gorgeous.
Beautiful, foggy, weird morning, orangey morning that I caught the other week, or yeah. And anyways, so I would just go over here and download it to my computer. I can do that with a number of these. I do ask that, you know, you're not painting these too much out of class time, just, you know, because I do spend a lot of time traveling and photographing and I, you know, am selling these, but I do want you guys to feel free completely to use these for learning, for, you know, from painting from, and all of that. If you do end up entering it into a show or anything, what I ask is you just say inspired by a photo by Michael Lorwick.
Sure.
And again, that's not so much that I really care. That's just etiquette for the art world.
Yeah, I was frankly speaking trying to print out a couple of the painting examples of the master artists that are in the museums, some of the clouds, because I couldn't see them very well on the Padlet. So right. I wasn't going to print out your photographs. Please don't arrest me.
You're more than welcome to, anyways. You're more than welcome to. Yeah, it's just the same thing. Download attachment, and there you go. You get this beautiful Renato painting.
Wasn't there 3 dots down at the bottom of each picture where you could just hit print? Did that go away?
Yeah, and it just disappeared. I have no idea.
See, I love that. I love that. And I would like to paint that, but I thought if I could print it out as an 8x10, wow.
Yeah. He's amazing, Renato. He's amazing. His detail and everything else.
Michael, if you prefer that nobody enlarges them or prints them out, I would respect you highly respect you, and not print them out.
Oh, I don't care.
Please don't arrest me.
Okay, you are safe. So anyways, I'm going to go back to talking about the Padlet really quick, just giving a run through again for Bella and everybody else. And I'm also going to show you a quick little video of the painting I want to do today. So again, class recordings, once I get them posted to YouTube, you can literally watch them through our Padlet. You're finding an old surface or a piece of cardboard, if you'd like, or if you push the YouTube button, it will actually take you to the YouTube and you can see them there. And okay, so it's that easy. I also, Bella, will send out an email with the link to the video as well. For some reason, there was 3 videos last week. So sometimes they do take a long time just to download from, I have to download them to Zoom and then from Zoom to my computer. and then from my computer to YouTube, and then I share them with you guys. So it does take a while. So it's not immediately after class, and sometimes it's not even till the next morning, because I will literally just get bored of watching it say downloading, downloading, downloading. And so I just walk away and forget to come back up to the studio. So anyways, I will eat, it's usually in the afternoon. I think 90% of the time it's that afternoon, but if not, it'll be the next morning. And if you guys don't see it, you can send me an email or a reminder. Last week, I actually sent them to the wrong Padlet because I've got 3 of them now. So it did take an extra day. But anyways, they're all there. You can see kind of what we've been doing. I also share just little tiny short videos and little things, a little kind of bonus stuff there. This next Monday morning, I've been invited to do a paint session with Eric Rhodes. I'll be doing a demo. Eric Rhodes is the publisher of Plein Air magazine, and on YouTube they do I should know more. They do demos and have an artist each every couple days. So on Monday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time, I will be their guest artist. I'll try to find the link and information on that. But I was thinking I might do something like this because it's so fun for me. And in fact, this technique that I'm doing here is what I'm going to do today, because some of the newer students haven't seen this, and it's one of my very favorite ways to paint. It's kind of called a wipe away method, because I haven't figured out a better term. Subtractive, I guess. It's almost like carving with paint. So anyways, there's that. And then I'm just very quickly, before I move along, I want to show you guys one short video that I just put on here. And I'll explain why as soon as it's finished here. Another beautiful morning.
Anybody?
Yeah.
Is that a glass palette?
Fiberglass or plexiglass. Sorry, plexiglass. I used to use glass palettes, but those things fall when you're plein air painting and shatter. So anyways, that's a local kind of a little tiny park. It's a little wetland that the beavers dammed right underneath that bridge down here. You can actually see the beaver dam has been there long enough now that grass and stuff is growing on the beaver dam. There's the little creek, and it filled up this, what used to be the stinky little creek. It filled up this water, and now a whole bunch of irises grow in there and a bunch of geese. There's actually 2 bald eagles that nest nearby. And it's so cool, and it's literally about a mile from my house. So I paint.
What's the name of the park?
It's part of the 12. No, it's part of. I don't know. I call it the Beaver Dam, the Beaver Park, because we have, with my painting friend Brenda, we have the Frog Park, the Beaver Park, and the what's the other one? The Duck Park. Guess we like our animals. So I should find out. Literally, Farmington Highway is right. No, TV Highway is right beside it. So it's a part of a great big nature park, but it's across the road. So it's a very short little loop, and nobody goes there, and it's just great. So I will share the link. If anybody, I know Michelle, you're local, and a couple others are local. If you'd like to paint there, and if you do, let me know. Maybe I can join you.
Is it Parks and Recreation where they have all those wetlands?
Well, it's in Beaverton, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
I think you're talking about there's a Tualatin wildlife.
Yeah. No,
That's down 99.
Yeah, that's funny. This photo right here is from the Tualatin
Okay.
place you're talking about. This is from Summer Creek or Summer Lake, which is nearby. So I'm always looking for these little opportunities to just find glimpses of nature. They're all suburban parks almost, you know, because I love the opportunity just to pop over in 5 to 10 minutes. You know, I'm not making a full day of it. Like last night, I really should have done it, but my wife ended up getting me to do gardening, and we did that all evening, which was still wonderful. And our garden's looking good already. But anyways, so there's that. Oh, and why I wanted to share that video with you is that is actually the plein air painting that I did there is the painting I would like to do today with you guys. Where's the reference? Ta-da. So this is the reference that I took basically during that painting. Why I chose this is because it has a wide variety of tree shapes and forms, as well with some sky holes. It's got some cast light, and what I like about it is the silhouetted forms. So anyways, that's why I wanted to share that video with you. I've got a number of different photos of that same scene. There's that bridge, the dam right underneath. Yeah, and then those are the railroad tracks I'm standing on. I really like when the sunrise just hits the tops of the trees. I was actually contemplating doing this as a painting, and this may be a great one for some of you. And then just here's a couple other shots where the trees are, you know, it's more of a horizontal format versus a vertical. And then I also wanted to show you how different it is when the lights changed on it. So this is face lit versus backlit. So those are those same tall trees right there. And just so what I love visiting, I love having these, you know, 4 or 5 locations near my house that I visit very regularly. So I see them in different seasons. I see them in different times of day. I see them in different weather. And it's just, for me, I just love having that attachment. Oh yeah. So you can tell this is at the beginning of spring here as the irises are starting to grow in, and these will just line this pond. I don't know how they came in so fast. It's crazy yellow irises. And it's cool because there's beavers swimming around, there's nutrias, there's bald eagles, and it all happened because the beavers moved in, right? All this nature. So anyways, lots of references. Savi Island, which is a place I paint a lot. It's a little farming island outside of Portland. This is that Tualatin wildlife refuge that you were just asking about. I love painting there too, and that's only about 15 minutes from my house. This, like I said, is Summer Lake, and I just love the tonal.
Wow.
So
That's
what I'm
gorgeous.
going to do is I'm going to do a really quick first demo of this as a wipe away only, and just show you a tonalist painting. And then I'm going to move on to that other tree painting that I showed you, the plein air one, and do that as a more finished off, but I'm still going to start it as a wipe away painting.
Okay.
Did you
Okay.
use a filter on your camera, Michael, for that?
Most likely. I'm always photographing through my sunglasses and stuff. Especially in fog and things. My glasses are UV filtered, and it will, you know, make certain areas darker and stuff. My previous pair of sunglasses were much better. I wish I would have kept them, even though they were, you know, one lens was broken. Wish I would have kept the other one. So yeah, I shoot through my sunglasses a lot. And anyways, let's look at a couple of these really quickly. So trees, like water, like clouds, are so all over the place, right? There's just all sorts of trees. You've got, you know, the pine trees and the deciduous trees and the evergreen trees and the, you know, palm trees. You know, I could just teach, again, I could teach an entire 8 weeks on just trees, and probably should. Maybe that's what I'll do next year. Maybe I'll just break it down to water instead of doing design, color, and brushwork. Maybe next year it'll be water, clouds, trees. That might be kind of fun to just really focus in. But anyways, I just want to show you guys, this is another park. Oh, so that one I was just showing you, where I did the plein air painting, this is the park that's connected to that. And it's a very foresty, beautiful park that we also walk through all the time. And so I'm constantly just taking photos. A lot of these these photos I haven't painted from yet. I love, as you can tell, fall colors. I love the warmer colors. So I'm very attracted to that. I also like backlit. So unfortunately, if you're using my references, you're going to find a lot of fall colors and a lot of backlit trees. When painting trees, I find that looking for their silhouette, looking for their big shape. So if we squint our eyes at this, and you lose the detail, I'm pointing at it. When you lose the detail where the light's hitting, you see how it's almost just a silhouette, as if, like when the Roadrunner, runs through or the Wile E. Coyote runs through the painting of the cave that the Roadrunner is painted. You guys remember those old cartoons? And it's just the shape of the Wile E. Coyote as he smashes through. That's what I think. That's, for me, the easiest way to approach trees is to kind of squint my eyes down and look for their big silhouetted shapes. And when you do that, start to look for what's going on, what's uneven. Like this tree, look at the trunk, the strongest trunk on this one leans to the left, but yet the tree leans to the right, most of the foliage. And that's to counterbalance, right? And this one, it's the opposite. The big trunk is leaning to the right, but most of the foliage on it, or, the needles, lean to the left, again, counterbalancing. So when you're looking at your silhouettes, look for the balance. Look for if it's leaning at all, how is it counterbalancing itself? Let's see. Just, oops, give me 1 second here. And so many things. Here's a, it's not gonna let me do that here. I'm gonna bring up a recent painting. Oh, it's doing it. This is a painting I did of very foggy background, and just with some spindly trees. And I just wanted to, I wanted there to be a background in an environment, but this painting is obviously about these trees, right? I love the detail. I love, but it's still silhouetted. If you look, if you were able to look closely, you would actually see there is a little bit lighter on the tops of the leaves versus underneath. And then I've got the kind of backlit again. But if you look at like how this trunk leans up and then leans back, you can see that it's constantly counterbalancing itself, right? Sometimes you'll see a tree really, really leaning over, but it's probably falling. It's probably losing its roots. The roots are getting in the soft ground or other things. So looking for the balance, how is it staying upright, right? It's constantly adjusting. We don't see it because it's doing it at a tree's time frame. But it's just, imagine us walking on a tightrope, how we're constantly balancing. We're constantly readjusting to keep upright. So trees are doing the same thing. Also, what I really, really like, and I learned this from looking at a California Impressionist painting that I really, really like. His name is Arthur something, and I can't remember it. I'm embarrassed, but I was looking at a book of his paintings, and I knew I really liked his landscape paintings. He was a California painter. And I didn't know that in the beginning of his career, he actually was a furniture maker and started off by painting pictures onto his furniture. He started off by painting, and we've all seen him. I should actually look him up really quickly. Do you guys mind giving me 1 minute? I'll go grab his book, and that way I can look up his name real fast. But what he did was he painted paintings of women dancing. That's how he started off. So give me 1 second. All right. His name is Arthur Matthews. That's easy enough. A-R-T-H-U-R Matthews, M-A-T-H-E-W-S. And I'm going to do a stop share so I can show you his book real quick. All right. So here's his beautiful book. And these are the paintings that were on his furniture. Wow. Yeah, gorgeous. I mean, they were always really good. Let's see if it has some of his furniture in the beginning. Anyways, but the whole beginning of the book is mostly figures and lots of dancing women. I think right now it's showing his influences. Very decorative art. And yeah, just lots and lots of figures dancing, moving. And then you get to the paintings that I knew are these landscape paintings, which are just gorgeous. And see if I can find any of his more famous ones. Yeah, here's this page. And what I realized by looking at this book and seeing his lifetime of paintings in one spot was that you will see the same arches and the same movement and the same flow that he had in his dancers in his trees. And that really like sparked something in me of, you know, for one, humanizing trees is always kind of fun and interesting. You know, you see the grumpy old man tree and the you know, little delicate saplings look like kids, but it was in the movement and in the gesture.
Right.
So that's it. So we're looking for the silhouette, we're looking for the balance, and we are looking for the gesture, the movement in it. And that's going to give our trees personality. You don't have to do it with every single tree in your painting, but you know, maybe having one or two that has a little bit more personality. Again, you know, we're kind of, who's our focus, what's our focus. So hopefully that makes sense. That was a long way to just say the gesture.
Michael, in the, you know, it always seems so overwhelming, the, you know, the forests, you know, I'm in the Northwest too, and just like, you know, separating out, like that one image that you photographed, you know, where there's just so much information to try to, to try to grasp. That, yeah, not that, yeah, that one. Like, I mean, I don't know, where do you even start? I mean, in your own mind, where do you start when you photograph something that is so complex?
Yeah, for one, I would simplify it 100 times over. For two, squint your eyes. And when you squint your eyes, you're looking for the values, the lights and the darks. And remember that the lights and the darks, the values, do the heavy lifting. They give us our structure and our form. It is the most important thing. It's what we want to jump past. We want to get to these gorgeous colors, right? These golds, cool, hot golds and oranges and yellows, and these cool blues and greens and purples down in the shadows. That's what's drawing us in. That's like what's, oh my God, this is an amazing scene. But it's all being held together by the values, the structure. So if I were to paint this really quickly, I would look to the values. I would look to the darks, and it's literally like the bottom half is pretty much dark, and then with some kind of strong, you know, horizontal and slightly diagonal lines that give us a sense of movement. And then I could come through and you know, lighten up certain areas. And then once I've got that light and dark, I mean, I could almost do it as a no tan, which is the fancy way of saying black and white. Imagine this as a black and white, or imagine it is 3 values, super simplified. But then you begin to break down these big shapes into their smaller shapes. So you just start off simple. What's the most basic thing? Light and dark in this painting. Sometimes it's just big color fields, you know, it'd be a yellow area and a green area, you know, and painted in their appropriate values. Let's see. Yeah, so here was one that was painted in a forest, really quite complex.
Wow. Wow.
So, you know, this is another park or a little private, I don't want to say private, but a trail nobody knows about. And I take my friends out there and we paint, but there's thousands and thousands of these trees, and they're all, you know, leaning over the creeks and the waterways, and I'm looking for the actual photo. So here's the photo. So you can see it's really busy, really complex. So I just did exactly what I told you. So I just simplify that down to the lights and darks, get it in there, map it out. And so I'm not worried too much about color. And then the color comes. Like, I know that, you know, I want these darks to be darker, warmer, and then the darks get cooler as they recede back into space to add a feeling of atmosphere. Yeah, I mean, look how complex this forest can be.
Yeah, I just would be overwhelmed.
Yeah, and it's fine. Be overwhelmed. Maybe I would just zoom in on one aspect, which is what I did in that painting. If you notice right here where this light is hitting this crook of this tree, I just flipped it and put it there. I just thought it felt better as far as our eyes move to go from left to right coming this way. And so that was just a, you know, personal decision. Don't know if it'll let me switch it here. And we can just decide. It just has a different feel to it slightly. So, you know, that was just a matter of choosing. It's not bad, I don't think, but I liked it this way. So remember, you can always do that with your photos too. Experiment, try different things. But yeah, again, if we look at this photo, which again, if you just stepped up to it, feels very intimidating, just looking to those lights and the darks. Here's a great example, actually. So here is the big photo, right? The whole scene. And then I came in and I cropped that down. So I tried to decide what out of, what out of this is the part that I find the most interesting, right? So I zoomed in towards the left side. And then even there, I was like, it's still a lot and it's kind of confusing. What would help me to tell the story even more? I cropped in one more time. And the first time I actually painted it, I painted it this format. And then I decided, you know what? A lot of what I like is the height of it. So then I came back in, switched it because I'd already painted this scene and didn't want it to look a lot like that. Plus I thought maybe the movement looked better. Changed it to a horizontal this way. So that's kind of my thought process as I'm looking. And you're right, it is too much. Like maybe don't attempt something like this right away. You know what I mean? I always suggest err on the side of simplicity while you're learning. Okay, painting is already difficult. We don't need to make it. Unfortunately so. I'm always surprised when I walk into a still life painting class for beginners and it's got, you know, 27 things on the still life and, you know, really ornate fabric that the objects are sitting on and interesting, weird lighting. It's like, no, and one apple, one light source, a simple background, start there, then add a lemon. You know what I mean? We all want to jump so far.
Yeah, you know who does fantastic complex forests is Richard Schmidt.
Yeah, and he simplifies them gorgeously.
Yes, he does.
One of my very, very favorite paintings of his is, I wouldn't even have known it's his. It's so impressionistic and gorgeous. I'll see if I can find that, or if anybody else finds it, please add it to the painting examples. The same with if anybody's looking up the Arthur Matthews and finds any good photos, please add them to painting examples. Okay, so we're looking at just different types of trees. I didn't get too crazy. I didn't bring in any palm trees or, you know, really exotic trees. These are all just trees literally within miles of my house. All of these are within 15 minutes drive of my house. Besides, these are made up. Except for this. I wish this was 15 minutes from my house. This is Carmel area, California. I took a trip down there. I got into 2 galleries in Carmel and I need a bunch of work and I love painting trees and I love cypress trees and I love the dancey movement. Again, probably inspired partly by Arthur Matthews, looking at his work. And so I did grab a couple of these. I grabbed this one, which I would love to paint. I love the little band of light. It's hitting this weird bush and only the light sneaking across the top of it. Not so these are in shadow. I just thought that has such a weird look. I got to figure out, what do I do? Maybe I turn this weird bush into a rock, or that looks like sea anemones or some kind of aquatic life to me. I'm sure people that are local would recognize it. And then here it is again in just different light, right? Without the extreme light source. Look at, I think that's my car. I'm standing on a road, but I love that I can take this tree out of this environment and move it into something my own, make it more exotic. Maybe I'll add a cliff and some crashing waves. But anyways, I just want to show you how differently things look under different light conditions. I mean, this is so much more dynamic and attractive to me than the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, doesn't want to. All right. These are some really interesting exploded coastal trees. I love the light coming through behind. It was the fog was rolling in as the sun was beginning to set. But this tree is crazy. It literally looks like it's exploded. It's got branches going every direction. So I would probably have to decide. I might get rid of this one or maybe this one. I would have to design this probably a little bit. I may also just zoom in to this area in the middle, because I think that that's kind of where the most excitement is. So you're constantly saying what is, what's necessary, what's unnecessary. A lot of times zooming in. Here's a beautiful, just simple scene. I've done this one before. This was just driving up to go skiing, and I saw these awesome, the light broke through the foggy day and these shadows. So you got these beautiful diagonals, these verticals, and then this large dark horizontal. And I just love that. It's just so simple. It's so beautiful. If anybody wants to paint that, I think you could do a lot of neat things. And who doesn't love birch trees or aspen trees or whatever these are, the ones with the little eyeballs on them?
I can imagine a Wolf Con version of that.
Hell yeah. Yeah. And feel free to, yeah. And if somebody does this, make it exciting. Pretend it's a pink sky with pink snow and, cool blue shadows. Have fun. This is just an open book of an image, right? You could do anything with this. Here they are, and this is the Tetons back there. I've really been wanting to paint this one, and I never have. And the funny thing is, I've lent this photo or gave this photo out to a couple friends, Brenda Boylan and Amanda Houston. Both of them painted it, done really beautiful paintings with them, and sold it. So it's funny. I love sharing my photos. This is one of the next ones I want to do big. I just love our forests here in the Pacific Northwest. I love the moss and everything else. And I have about 10 photos of this. I'm contemplating, do I do it vertically or do I do it horizontally? Let me see if I can find the other ones so you can even help me decide. But I just love, and I love the transparency in the water with a little bit of a ripple. I've always been attracted to freshwater, really clean creeks. That's probably my happiest place, is along creeks like that. And I think that goes back to our very DNA, that this means water to drink. This means fish to eat. You know what I mean? This means that we get to live another day. I really think that humans are attracted to water scenes. And I think that we're attracted to verdant fields and, rolling hills, because it represents life to us. Sorry, Linda, where you live, but a little rougher out there. But I think there's a reason, and I think there's a reason people are drawn to a lot of the paintings I do. And I only recently in the last year or two came to that idea, and I think I read it in a book too about, why we want to live in certain areas, blah, 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 even though we don't need to. And it's because, it's literally soaked into our DNA.
This is the first time I've lived where I'm not right next door to water. Even in Phoenix, I was like 30 feet from the canal, the canals that run through Phoenix with water in it. I've always lived near a creek or an ocean or a bayou or something. And I don't know why and how I got here, but I go to California to the water. I go to the lakes around here to see water. We have beautiful lakes here in Arizona, but
Yeah, you know what? It's so crazy. And I appreciate you saying that, Linda. And it is like, even when I go to Palm Springs, nobody's out in the desert. They're all by the little tiny streams that are flowing and the little arroyos and
exactly.
everything else. They're all attracted to the little oasis, you know, and everything else. It kind of is funny and interesting to me. Like, this is a scene that I've literally been too scared to paint. I really find something interesting in this. Very abstract in nature, very monochromatic, right? It's all green. But things like this are intimidating to me. They're just weird.
But look at the reflections in the water. Look at the
Right,
reflections
right.
in the water. They're
Yeah, and
so
I have-
clear, whereas the top is like more
Chaos.
monochromatic.
Yeah. So anyways,
Oh, I
this
love
again is
that.
that Tualatin Wildlife Refuge that we were talking about, probably taken through my sunglasses. And in this, I was just attracted by the lead-in lines, the variety and shape of the trees, right? We are attracted to variety of shape and form. So if all my trees just look like bulbous trees, or all my trees just look like pine trees, it can get a bit tedious. And I'll oftentimes change that up. But anyways, I like this because, again, it's got the horizontals, it's got the diagonals, it's got the verticals, and it's got this nice little thing, little light passage for us to get to, right? So this might be one that's interesting for some of you guys. And when you look at this and you see all thousands of leaves on the periphery here, simplify, simplify, simplify. Write that down 3 times, with the 3rd time being all caps, getting bigger. Okay, simplify, simplify, simplify. If that's not your thing, like if you're just like, no, I'm a detail painter, Mike, detail will come. Write that after that. If you're a detail person, don't start with detail. You'll get yourself in a world of hurt. If any of you guys have watched high school kids draw a portrait, they start with the left eye, and then they draw the greatest left eye that they've ever drawn. And then they stop because they're scared to ruin it by trying to put in the rest of the face, right? Or they all of a sudden have a patch on, or, you know, and you don't want to be protecting your precious detail. So the detail comes eventually, if you want it, if that's something you care about. I care about having just enough detail, generally, that it's implied detail, and we'll talk about that more. So anyways, if I was to paint this, which I have, I would squint my eyes again and look at how all those little silly periphery leaves just kind of disappear, right? And all of a sudden it just kind of, the dark masses really kind of fuse together, the mid-tone values fuse together, the lighter mid-tone values fuse together. You see what's happening there? And the detail just kind of goes away, and we find our roadmap and our entry into the painting by starting simple. I have had students in the past that almost get angry at me when I show them how simply and crudely my paintings begin. I think they really want me to start here with all the detail and slowly work my way across and do the detail. And there are painters and artists that can do that. They're generally on the autistic spectrum, to tell you the truth. And it's just a different way that our brains.
Oh my God.
So you will learn, you know, maybe you'll learn that you're autistic. I've had a number of students maybe think that there might be dyslexic, because I'm dyslexic, very dyslexic. And the way I paint, and I'm going to show you today, this attractive way, is almost like a reversed way of painting. And some people love it and some don't. And I always wonder if the ones that really, really like it and are really drawn to it, like I'll get emails like, Mike, you've changed my life. You've made painting so much more pleasurable and fun, and it's so much more approachable. I'm like, uh-oh, you're dyslexic, probably. I don't know if that's true or not. That same creek that I showed you with all the busy trees. In fact, I'm standing in the same spot, just turned to the right, looking up creek versus down creek in the other one. So I love this, but why I haven't painted this yet is because look, all of the diagonal lines are going to the left. And it just feels like the painting kind of wants the photo kind of wants to tip over towards the left a little bit, right? So I don't know, do I maybe leave this one, but it's leading right into the corner? Maybe I straighten this one out. Maybe I, get rid of 2 or 3 of these and open it up. I haven't worked this one out in my head, even though this is in my to paint file.
Michael, would it make any difference if you flip this one? Because our eyes generally go from left to right.
Yeah, just like you did. You're right. Maybe.
Also, there's a couple, like the little skinny one in the back that leans to the right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where? Oh, like back here. Yeah, you do in this area, you do get a counterbalance. And yeah, maybe what I would do is just bring a bigger one across, maybe just make that bigger. Okay, let's pop it open. Let's do a quick flip.
What happened to you?
Oops, pause there. Or mute, sorry. What do you think?
It just feels too parallel.
Mm-hmm.
It does feel better than that. It feels better than the original, but it still doesn't solve for the issue. So yeah, I mean, and in theory, I could straighten these up, right? I'm so strong, I could just walk up there and push them back up. But the truth is, we are, sometimes nature needs some help, right? And we've got our artistic license, and without sounding blasphemous to anybody here, we are the gods of this world that we're creating, right? We get to move mountains. We get to literally change the lighting and the seasons, and we are in control of everything. Okay, so remember that we are world building. So ask questions of your references, whatever they are. Ask, does this help? Does it hurt? Bella, I have a couple sayings that I talk about a lot in my paintings, and one of them is, if it's not helping, it's hurting, and when in doubt, leave it out. Okay, one of the worst, and I'm a pretty nice, easygoing teacher, but one of the things that will get me upset the most in like workshop situations is when I've already told people this a couple times, and then the students will, when I come around and I'm like, why is there a brick wall right at the base of your painting that makes it impossible to get in? Or why is there a huge branch that's obscuring everything? And you know what they're going to say, right? Because it's in the photo. And I hate that. I mean, if you already got the photo, we want to make a beautiful painting. We want to make a beautiful picture. We want to make something that's inviting. Depending on your goals with it, but just leave it there. Cool. Yeah, leave without saving. Okay. Anyways, lots of things that I'm thinking about when painting. This one is a crop of a much bigger photo, and I just kept looking at it, and I just like these shapes. Again, squinting our eyes, you can see how the darks become big forms. You can see how the midtones become big shapes, right? It looks complicated. There's a ton of stuff. But when we squint our eyes and just look at the shadows, the midtones, and the lights, it becomes approachable, right? I don't care about all these spindly little grasses. I'd probably not add hardly any of them anyways. What's exciting about it for me is right in here. I might even zoom in another time. Who knows? Sunset hitting trees. I think these are fall trees anyways, but really can change things, make them very dramatic. And look how complicated. And if any of you guys are Maxfield Parrish fans, I know Michelle is. Look at that. That looks so much like a Maxfield Parrish painting. But yeah, if you look at these leaves, completely overwhelming. But if you squint your eyes and look at the big, bulbous, simplified shapes and the lights and the darks, and just look at them as big shapes, big value shapes, all of a sudden, everything is approachable, right? When in doubt, take it out. I probably wouldn't have this stupid stop sign ahead sign in there. I mean, maybe. I do have friends who love and do telephone poles to amazing effect and use them often. In fact, some of them kind of look for them. I got other friends who love fence posts because it gives you perspective. I generally take out my telephone poles. I just don't find them very beautiful. I wish they didn't exist, except for they can be really cute with birds. But that's completely up to you. Okay. I feel like I'm taking too long with this here. But anyways, lots of references. I did add a couple of water references because I was actually thinking we would do that this week. So there's this very simple, I think this is in Cambodia photo. Anyways, and this one is in Spain. I'm going to stop right there and I'm going to share the painting I just did based on this. When we do our wave painting, I was actually contemplating doing kind of a zoomed in version of these backlit shiny waves, but it may be a little bit much. But anyways, I wanted to share it to show you, and I'm going to grab the painting that I'm working on of that. So there's the painting I'm working on of that.
Wow.
Lakes kind of.
Wow, that's wow.
Gorgeous, gorgeous.
And so the fun
yeah.
part, and
Oh,
why it's not done yet,
fab.
is I've got a lot of repeating textures in here right now. It was fun to kind of come in and actually paint all the textures on these rocks and really kind of bring that to life, because when we look at the photo, you'll see that the rocks are actually just big black amorphous shapes, right? But what they are doing is giving me firm edges compared to the soft diffused edges of the distance and the soft diffused edges of the spray of the waves. Okay, so I really wanted to lean in that. When these rocks had no definition, they just looked like big black holes, right? Big dark holes. And so by adding a little bit of texture and form and, you know, kind of a reflected light, because they are in the shadow, the light is in the back, you know, kind of coming through. I was able to just say that this is the reflected light that's coming down from the sky, not from the sun itself, but from the dome of the sky. So it's not strong light. I have to do it at an angle, I guess, to see them. But then why I'm not finished yet is I'm waiting for the mist area on my waves to dry a little bit more, because I actually want to come in and even soften those transitions a little bit more. I really want to play up edge quality in this painting, because that's what the class is about, right? A lot of brushwork and edges. So I've got my crisp edges in my rocks. I've got my kind of in between in my little wavelets and little, you know, little bits of information. And then I really want to play up the super soft edges up here where they almost just get kind of obliterated by that bright sun. And I really want to play up the splashing mist here to make it really soft, to really play up against the jaggedy hard edges. So to make rocks feel rock-like, they need to have firm edges. To make mist or clouds feel cloud-like or mist-like, they have to have soft edges.
I think rocks are so hard. I just
It's about the edge quality. If you are trying to paint rocks with a filbert brush, or God forbid, a mop brush or anything like that, you are in for a world of hurt, right? Those are great for painting organic. And I know, I guess rocks are probably organic, but you know what I mean? Living things, leaves, well, get myself in trouble. Clouds aren't living things, but you know, they're for moving and organic and soft edged things. Our filberts are great for that. But I find that filberts are pretty rough for rocks. That's why I try to preserve some of my flats. If you guys remember, when I buy paintbrushes, I almost buy only flats, right? My flats, as they get worn down, become filberts. So I don't ever buy filberts. I just end up having them. They just kind of show up in my drawer after a while. And if my filberts get destroyed, give them a little trim and they become shorts. I never buy shorts either. Those are the little tiny bristle brushes, you know, like my flats have bristles really long. In fact, now the brands of flats that I buy have longer and longer and longer bristles. Rosemary Brushes came out with a line of them, and it seems like a number of other companies are following suit. I really like the long because I can do a lot of calligraphy, a lot of movement, and I can get a lot of gesture in my brush strokes. I find with the flats, when a lot of beginners start with the flats, because they're very controllable. You know exactly what's going to happen with them, but it's boring, it's repetitive, and there's no calligraphy or movement in your brush stroke. So you're saying rocks are hard. Use flat brushes for a little while, see if that helps. The other tool, of course, and one I underutilize is your palette knife. I feel like I'm kind of jumping all over the place today, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, you're supposed to do trees today.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a rock painting that I showed you guys last week that I did while plein air painting in Spain. And in fact, it's the same beach of that photo that I just showed you of that other painting. It's the same exact beach. This is sunrise and the other one was sunset. And so I've started it by just layering in my darks, and then I'm going to come back in with a palette knife over the top. And I was actually going to do that as the demo today, but I want to do trees. So anyways, palette knife can be a great tool for that. Great. All right. We'll get back to share screen. And Bella, I'm usually not this all over the place when I'm teaching. I'm sorry. But I do get excited and jump down rabbit holes and stuff. Back to this, and I will let you guys look through those photos. Painting examples from famous artists or, you know, other artists that we like. So those are just examples of, you know, most of these are cloud paintings up to this point. I'll be adding tree paintings throughout the week. And I urge you guys to also add any paintings by artists that you like of trees. And you can also start to add water as well. My paintings, this is the one that I did plein air. And this is the one I'll be kind of replicating today to a degree, but with very different colors and different mood. And then what we showed you, everybody's sharing their photos and paintings here.
I shared photos.
Yay. All right. So there we are, 1 hour into class. Perfect. So that was the lesson. And now we're going to do critique for a little bit of feedback on people's paintings. And then we will, well, we're going to take a 5-minute break. Then we're going to do critiques. And then we're going to take a 5-minute break. And then I'm going to do a demo painting or two. So that's typically kind of the process with my classes.
Michael, I have something to show you, and I don't want you to laugh at me.
All right.
You were talking about, I don't know if you can see the name on the brush. This is a Bob Ross mop brush.
There you go.
These are Bob Ross mop brushes.
Yeah, you know what? I had a student in my last workshop who bought in a whole bunch of Bob Ross equipment, and like the Bob Ross palette knives were really good. Heavy
Yes.
duty, big handles for, you know, people with arthritis and stuff. And yeah, I think, you know, I would never make fun of Bob Ross. I
No,
love that guy. He was my first and almost only exposure to art for a large part of my early life. You know, the only channel we had was OPB, and I only got to watch him when I was homesick. But, you know, that was all we had out in the town of less than 100 people.
oh, wow.
Hey, while we're showing tools, this is Michelle.
Yep.
This little thing I picked up when I had to buy a new phone, and they were using the scraper thingy to put on the screen protector. And so I said, hey, do you have an extra one of those? And so it's real flexible.
And is it rubber?
Yeah, it's like rubber, and it's got an edge on it that's kind of softer. And anyway, I just thought that might be fun. I might play with that.
Perfect. Yeah, I use similar tools like that are done for making printmaking, silk screens and stuff. And I love them.
Verizon screen protector. Yeah, thing.
Verizon screen protector. Very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, let's go ahead and take a couple-minute break. And let's do a really short break, just enough time to run and grab, refresh our coffee, and we'll be right back. I'm gonna go ahead and stop it. And Susie, you're in charge of reminding me to record.